Today is August 1st, so it's been a day now, and we're going to check out how our ecosphere or biosphere is doing. I named the grasshopper George, or my little cousins named him George. I think he's a young grasshopper. I don't know how old he is. It's a good thing that they're known herbivores, so they just eat plants, and sometimes they also eat dead insects. The inside of the jar is condensating a lot. There's a lot of water on the sides. Okay, so today is August 2. So this is day 2 of my Biosphere ecosphere. I decided to renovate it before showing it to you today because I thought the one that looked yesterday I thought it was too dirty. Here's a caterpillar. My cousins named him Jelly. Jelly, I put him in with a leaf bed so he can eat the leaf as he lives here, because caterpillars are notorious for being extremely hungry all the time. So earlier, George was actually eating this weed over here. If you can see this one particular leaf, like the one in the middle. Jelly was also doing the same. I found another mushroom which I found growing on a tree bark, and I put it in here. I also put some flowers. I also put an abandoned seashell. Okay, so today is August 3, and this is day 3 of our Biosphere ecosphere. That yesterday, flowers didn't bloom yet, but today, but earlier this morning, I noticed that there were flowers this time. So as you can see, there are flowers blooming. It is starting to condense now. There's more water here, which means that the environment is getting more humid now. So today is August 4. The mushroom is beginning to degenerate. As you can see, there are these little white worms. So apparently they're called fly larvae. They hatch from their eggs, which were apparently laid on this particular mushroom right here. And recently, just this morning, a bunch of these eggs hatched, and all these worms are crawling all over the place now. These fly babies are, I think, really destructive to the environment, since they feed on the vegetative tissues of plants. Like, I think it's called the mycelium of mushrooms. They feed on mushrooms as well as other plants and their roots, which ultimately destroys their life support, basically. So I'm afraid these fly larvae are gonna do a lot of damage inside. So today is August 5th. This is the 5th day. Actually, it's still morning, so it's not official yet until later 12 noon. The worst has happened. So the grasshopper has stopped moving, unfortunately. And I also noticed that the mushroom has completely died. A lot of these fly larvae are sticking to the sides. There's so much of them. I don't know what's gonna happen. At least the caterpillar is still alive. Needless to say, our setup didn't really work out. And I could think of several reasons as to why we did it. First, throughout the 5 days, it was raining, so the only available soil within our backyard anyway, they're all wet. So when put inside a jar that's airtight, we can expect a lot of condensation. So it's very humid inside. I've read that grasshoppers have to live within a certain amount of temperature in order to survive. I think it was too cold inside because it was very humid. Number 2 was the addition of the fungus. That mushroom already harbored fly eggs, and eventually they hatched and became these disgusting white little worms. It did destroy a lot of the ecosystems. The mushroom died, and then the flowers are not as blooming as they were before. Also, our caterpillar, I also noticed right now, it also died. I really thought it would survive because just this morning it was still moving. It was actually still eating the leaves, and then when I came back, like earlier, it was still this caterpillar was still eating the leaves, as you can see. but it didn't survive. I don't know why, but I'm guessing that it had something to do with the fly larvae as well, because it might have, I don't know, infected the food inside the leaves. If those variables were changed, if they were better, if the soil wasn't extremely wet, if it was just dry enough to have a certain amount of moisture, if the temperature inside was at the right amount, if the organisms you put were the right kinds of organisms that could survive in the environment, then I think this particular Biosphere ecosphere would have been able to survive.